Trading the foreign exchange market carries high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Trading on margin, utilizing leverage can carry an even higher level of risk that can lead to a complete loss of investment funds. So before deciding to trade the foreign exchange market or using any of our software alert products, you should carefully and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, level of experience, and risk tolerance. There is a possibility that you could potentially sustain significant loss. You should not invest any capital or trade that you cannot afford to lose. It is your responsibility to be aware of and understand all risks associated with foreign exchange trading and to seek professional advice from an independent certified financial advisor if you have any doubts. Auvoria Prime does not exercise trading authority over your trades. You and you alone exercise discretionary trading authority over every trade.
Right now we are looking at Tuesday, July 27th, and we have a red folder here at 10 a.m. with the USD with consumer confidence index. This is going to be reported. And then later on tonight, anybody's trading the Asian market at 9:30 p.m., the Aussies are going to have a CPI report. And be careful of those CPI reports. Those things can really move the market. Looking at Wednesday at 8:30 in the morning, we have a CPI report for the Canadian dollar. And 10:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, US dollar FOMC statements. So there's a few red folders on Wednesday. Just be careful. Today, not too much today during our session, but be careful with this 10 o'clock one at the CB consumer reports. And let's go to the, where is the next one here? Looking for my, see, I don't think this one, that's not it. Thought I had this thing come up, but I guess I didn't. Here's our correlation chart. Bring this up. This is when we see what's hot and what's not. Now, keep in mind, for those of you who may have not heard the change, Brian likes to have the 1 hour in the upper left-hand corner, the 30-minute in the upper right-hand corner. So I did switch those. So right now, the higher time frames are in the top. The lower time frames, which are the ones I use most of the time for the scalping, are in the bottom. So we have the upper left is a 1 hour. It should be. Yep. And the upper right is a 30-minute. The lower left is a 15-minute chart. And the lower right is the 5-minute chart. And so I'm primarily interested in the bottom two and also the 30-minute. I don't really pay a lot of attention to the 4 hour or the 1 hour charges because it's a little bit beyond the time frame that I need to be looking at. But I'm looking at right now, I'm seeing the Swiss and Euro in the 30 minutes, Swiss and Euro at the 15, Swiss and Euro at the 5 minutes. So we're going to trade the strength of the Swiss, the Euro, and now they just look to the Aussie in there. But we're going to be primarily focusing on the Swiss and the Euro right now, and we're going to do that looking against the CAD and the Japanese yen, which is the bottom two. So I'm going to go with the Swiss, let's go with Swiss CAD and see what we have with that. And let's see, slide this over. Let me pull up a Swiss CAD chart. We'll see if there's anything there that we can maybe trade. Swiss. It's in there someplace. No, I don't see it on my chart there for some reason. Let me see.
Which one are you looking for, Al?
This is the Swiss CAD. I'm not seeing it on there. Let me see if I can just
I'm not seeing it there.
We're looking at Forex. See, or maybe it's CAD Swiss. Maybe CAD
there
Swiss.
It is. It's CAD Swiss.
CAD Swiss. Okay, here we go.
Although that's not a Wanda. Do you want a Wanda?
Yeah. Actually, maybe I have it on the other one here. CAD Swiss. Here we go. That's the one I want. So, as we look and see where we're looking at, you can see it's in the Canadian dollar is the first currency of the pair. That's the strong or the weakest. And you can see that it's heading in the down direction. The Swiss is the strongest as the second currency of the pair. So that's why it's moving into the down direction. And we can still see that now the down below is it's the same tool we just looked at with our heat map or Hercules. It just propagates just the symbols of the two pairs that we're looking at down here at the bottom. And so right now we have a 7-2 split on the 15-minute chart with the CAD being the weakest. 2-point spread on the 5-minute, and we have a 2-point spread on the 1 minute. So right now we're basically looking to see what zone we're looking at in the for the Fibonacci 15-minute zones. Make sure I get on the 15-minute. I am. And so we're looking to see. I'm just going to take all these off and start from the first screen here. So here's our green line. Here's our red line, and the let's see. Here's our blue line right here. So right now it's right at the 50-minute blue line. And so I'm going to draw my Fibonacci's. It seems like most of it looks like it was flat above, came back down, tested it, went back up, tested it again. So I'm going to be working on the upper part of this. You can go either direction on this. It really doesn't matter. It's all going to be pretty much the same. I'm over here in my 15-minute and tweak it a little bit to make sure we catch all the lines right, as close as we can. And that's pretty close right there. That's good. We're going to lock it in. And basically, I'm speaking and saying everything that my thought process. I'm just speaking my thought process through all this stuff. So right now, this is a little bit of an extension. It's right now, it came down, tested it, went out, came back, retesting it again. So right now we have a little bit of a battle going on right here at this level, at the 72.87 level. This is the lower 20. This is we're going to mark the lower and upper 25%. So here's the upper 25% zone that we usually try to at least identify. It's going to be right up in here. Now you can use the 25% loans. You can use these other 5-minute Fibonacci zones. Either way, I think it works just about equally as well. It depends on how much you want to, how many different lines you want to put on your chart. And I'll move this thing down to the lower 25. And you can see like right now, I'm going to put this in the fact which direction was this thing coming from? It was coming from the upper part coming down. So this is actually now more of the overshoot area from the down move. Move this over here like that. And I'm going to mark this as the overshoot. And basically all that means is that it came down, it's still within the 25% of this, so it hasn't really committed itself to going to the next level. And so right now it's just kind of sitting here, kind of in consolidating. You do see that we have a little bit of a wedge going on here. Here's a low, here's an anchor, here's a hit. Now we did break the third hit, it was broken. And you can see that it came down, it bounced off of this right here, came down, broke, passed through, came back. This was a pass and check. So right now it's still trying to decide which way it wants to go. We do see that we do have the strength of the Swiss, which is to the downside. So I'd be looking at selling on the pullbacks. Move this over here so I can see this a little bit better. And if we look and see where our zones are, here's our 7 pips. So from here to here, this should be about 7 pips. That's the 72.81 to 72.87-ish. So there's right about 7 pips. We had a nice little drop, pulled back. It's retesting this. It broke the wedge. If we can get a 5-minute close below this line, we can probably take and go for 7 pips here on this. We have the strength of the Swiss. So we want to take it to the downside. And let's just take a look and see what we can do here. Like I said, it did break the wedge. It broke it, came back up, retested, went back into that wedge area. And now if we get this close, and this is right now our time is, we have about, we have 3 minutes left on a 5-minute candle. So that's still quite a bit. If it starts to really confirm with that, it may come down before this 5-minute candle closes. It may come already take us out. Not take us out, but not give us the ability to get in before this line. This is going to be our first target. Here would be our second target. And right now, it hasn't really confirmed that it wants to break through this area, but it is certainly giving us pause to think that that's what it's going to do. And a lot of times when you have these move down into when it gets into the overshoot area, this is just a fake out. This is where a lot of times these head fakes are. You think it's going to go break out, it goes down. You think, okay, I'm going to jump on. It comes back out, goes looks for a stop, takes your stop out, and next thing you know, it goes back down again, or it just reverses back into the wedge, and gives you a little bit of those head fakes that we talk about. So right now, I'm going to stay away from this right now. This isn't really confirming that well. The range of this, we have a nice little down move, pull back. I'm going to be using this. Let's see, let's go to 5-minute chart here. I'd like to see it break through the bottom. I'd really like to see it break through the bottom of this little pivot right here. It did break through here. It did not close. So this is a little bit, this is what I would call a trap. That's going to be, you have this pivot here, come over, bring it on up to the wedge, where it broke the wedge. And you can see where it still respected this pivot right here. Now, if it can break through out of this trap, then we're looking at it going down to possibly this red line, which is a 5-minute Fibonacci zone. And if it can break through that, that's at 72.85 to 72.73. This would be about 13 pips. So right now I'm looking I prefer to wait and see it to break out of this trap, close, get a 5-minute close below the trap, and then I'm looking for this area for the target. And then this one would be a 5-minute Fibonacci zone. This is a red one. And you can see, like I said, that's going to give us a nice little run. It's going to have to get through this little pivot down here as well. But this would be the first one that gets the confirmation. Now, we did say that right now the Swiss is strong, so I do not want to take it long at this point. As long as we can keep the spread going, if we had the pullback, you can see the pullback. The Swiss, if you look over here where the pullback was, it wasn't a real deep pullback, but the Swiss was still strong even on the pullback side. So that does give us rise to think that this thing's going to keep on going down. Any questions so far?
Doesn't seem to be any.
Nope.
Yep.
Okay. And we'll just have to pretty much wait. Let's take a look at something else here in the meantime while we're waiting for this. Let's see. How about a euro? Let's see. Euro. Let's try the Eurocat. See if that. Well, actually, this thing's starting to. We did get a nice little close. This is a drop, little basing, a drop, a little basing, drop, little basing. We can actually take this thing short and just use this for our stop. That'd be at 72.93. Our stop 72.90. That's less than a 10 pip stop.
What would your target be, Al?
What's that?
What would your target be? What kind
my target's going to be my target on this one is going to be the 5-minute 7 pips or the 5-minute Fibonacci. So I'm going to do a sell, and we're going to do I'm going to do a sell stop at 70, maybe 72.83. I'm going to do a sell stop at 72.83, which is pretty much right where we are right now. Sell stop. And
Danielle is asking, what about doing the squish squash method to the left to see if there's a demand area at the bottom?
Well, we could do that. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I love Danielle. All right, so let's do the squish squash Let's see here. We go with the okay, just got filled. If I go to my 15-minute chart and see where, if you follow where this red line, you can see right now. Look at this little pivot right here. It came right down and just came short of hitting that and rejected. This one came up to here, rejected down the other side, broke through, went up, bounced around, came back down. So there's a high probability this could come down and retest this 5-minute Fibonacci level. So I like this for our target. Now you can see, like on this 1-minute chart, you can see where we got filled, but you don't even see a wick where the filled part was. That's because of the spread. It's basically what we got. The spread's a little bit rich here. It's a 2.8 spread on this. So I did get filled, but now it's going to have to pretty much go through that 2.8 pips before I even get back to break even on this. But I say here's the first target. This green zone is the first target. That's at 72.80. We got filled at 72.83. That's only 3 pips away. I'd like to see a little bit more of a profit margin on that. To see it get down to that, and maybe even break through and down to about halfway into this area, that would still be a pretty nice little trade. It still would be 83 to 77. That's our 7 pips, and that's pretty much halfway in between this target. Now my stop is going to be, I'm going to put my stop above this pivot, and that's going to be a 72.89. I'm going to just use my basic 15 pip stop, but I'm going to be looking at this area as I don't want to see it close above this little zone right here between these pivots. This is my stop zone. I'm not going to put my stop there. I'm keeping it well out of harm's way so they can't just grab it on me. But this is going to be my stop zone. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to protect my trade. And I'm going to stop loss at, we're going to go with 15. Let's see if that's 70 to 97. This doesn't sound right. I went 72, 15, see 72. Yeah, I guess it is about right, 97. 15 pip stop, and I'm going to go with a 10 pip target, see where that puts, and I can always adjust it. 72, 72, which is going to be just a little bit above this. This is a little bit below that zone. Let's go with 7 pips. 72, 75, which pushes right about where that green line is. And so there we are. I could move this. I don't expect it to get up that high. If it like I said, if it breaks through this and goes back up, and I'm going to be out of this trade way before I ever get to my stop, unless I'm just not able to, unless I'm not monitoring it. Like I said, we are in the overshoot zone. It did come down. It's been bouncing around over here by this blue line, this blue 15-minute line. But it does have the downward pressure. It's still looking good. The Swiss is still stronger to the. They'll be stronger to the downside. And so we're still looking good for this trade. And while we're waiting for that, we'll just go on to the next one, see how this one, we'll just save this one for later, and we'll go to the next one. So let's look at a euro yen. Look at the yen pair. So we have CAD Swiss. We'll keep that one on mind. This is our correlator. And we just look at and see where the euro, and let's just switch around. Let me see something here. This is my 5-minute. Make sure I got these right. 15, 30. Yep, that's right. So let's take it. I did say the euro yen, but doesn't look good there. Euro yen on the 15-minute chart. Let's take a look at that one. And so euro, yeah, that's right here. Just have to have that. Take some of this off. I'm not using these. And so we'll go and we'll do the same process all over again. Clean the screen, look and see where our zones are on our 15-minute zones. Now remember on the yen pairs, the distance between if you go into 1 minute, you see where the Fibonacci zone distances are, you're going to find out that they're a lot closer. They're only about like 3 pips apart. So a lot of times with the yen pairs, I'll just go pretty much work with the 5-minute for my targets. These got to be a little bit too tight, not just because the yen is 100 yen to a dollar as opposed to like a 1 to a dollar. So, but anyway, but the zones are still going to be the same as far as what we're going to be looking at. Right now, the price is between the blue and the red. So we're going to draw our Fibonacci between those two. Come over here to my 5 minute and make sure we got them on the lines as close as we can. Put my 5 minute charts up. There's my line. I'll just tweak it just a little bit. Move it over so we can see it. Check the bottom. Move that over just a little bit. And I'm going to lock it so we don't move it around. And right now here's our upper 25%. You can see it came right up into this upper 25% zone, and now it's being rejected a little bit. Went about halfway up, now it's coming back down again. And we're right at a 5 minute green line. No, that's not right. We just passed the 5 minute red line. Next one is going up into and these zones right now at 129.89, 89 to 130. So that's basically 11 pips in between the red and that's a nice little zone to be working with. Here's ours. We are looking at the euro is the stronger of the currencies. 15-minute chart, we have a 6-point spread. 5-minute chart, we have a 5-point spread. And now we have a little bit of a flip on the 1 minute, which means this is just a retracement. I'd like to see this thing flip back over to the red above the euro, getting back above the Japanese yen before I try and jump into this trade, because you just don't know how deep the pullbacks are going to be. Let's see. Here's our 5-minute red zone. I'm going to mark that. And here's a 5-minute green zone. Mark that. This just breaks those 15-minute zones into thirds. 5-minute green. So really, this is our playground. And then we have the blue line up here, which is a 15-minute blue. The blue lines are usually the more prominent ones. The higher the time frame, the more important they are. And if we go to a 1 hour chart on this 15-minute and see where the lines are, actually I can change this to a 1 hour. I'm kind of curious to see if there's a 1 hour blue line or what the 1 hour chart is on that. And so right here we are on the fibs, and there's a 1 hour. You can see, like right now, we still have the blue line. So this is really, not only is it a 15-minute blue, it's a 1 hour blue. And that's even more important. So this is going to be a tough one to get through. And so I'm going to mark this as a, let's see, 15 minute blue. And settings, 1 hour. So it's not only a 1 hour blue, it's a 15-minute blue, it's a 5-minute blue. It's going to be and it'll probably come up there and possibly retest it, but let's wait and see how the strength of the euro goes. The euro is the first currency. The pair is showing the strength. So we are looking for pullbacks. To buy the pullbacks going up. This is a reasonable target to be working with. Nice move up on the 15-minute chart. Here's the origin. This is the origin of this up move. You see we had a nice rally, base pulled back a little bit, another rally, pulled back, and now and you can see, like right here at this blue, look back over here to the left, you'll see right where this blue line, it just came right up to that line and it was rejected. Came up to the line, rejected. It's probably going to come up and get retested again. So this is an area, is really a retest of this down move. And we have 8 pips to the C30. Right now we're looking right at about 4 pips. If we got in right now, we'd only have about 5 pips. I really like to see about 15 pips as a target and just try and get those 7 pips out of it. So from this point right here to that's at 91. if I can get a fill right here about this pivot low right here, this little, if I can get filled there, then we could look into the upside. So I'm going to go ahead and put a order into for a buy limit right out here at this, right there at the bottom of this little pivot wick. Let's see what is the. Let's see what the. Before I do that, let me just see how much of a pullback we get looking at here. Here's a nice little move up. This is the impulse move. Here's our pullback. And right now it's pulled back about 40%. It's right about the 40% pullback. It's pulling back. It's still strong. I'm okay taking a shot at this one right here at the 129.91 level. So I'm going to go ahead and put a buy limit at 129.91 and see if we get filled. And we're going to put it in. And then we're going to modify it to the target. And the target is going to be the blue line, which is 130.000. 130. That's not right. 130.00. Let me try that again. Modify it. Target. There's the one I want. 130.00. And then the stop will be our, again, we're going to use our 15 pip stop. And set the order. And we'll see if we can get filled. We may have to move this up just a little bit in order to get filled in that. But once we get this pullback, if we can get filled, the other option would be to try and do a buy stop and go for it. But there again, I just want to make sure I have enough room to try to get at least 7 pips out of this thing. And let's see how our CAD Swiss is doing here. It's not behaving very well. Here's my stop zone. And let's see here. We have nice move down. Here's a pivot low. So right now it's sort of building a wedge. This was a little bit of a fake out right in this area. It came all the way down. Came out just enough to get me into this trade. And then it rejected back to retesting the wedge. We're still not worrying about it right now. It's still, I like seeing where it came up, and the wedge is still, this wedge line is still being respected. You know, we have a little bit of here's a little high. This is a nice little wedge right in here. You'll be hearing a lot about wedges as we go on. Here's high, here's the low, here's the lower high, or an equal high. And now we're looking to see if it's going to break through that area.
Come in handy, don't they, from time to time now?
What's that?
The wedges really come in handy.
They really do. It really gives you that nice little range about where the prices are. And actually, I could probably even take this one over here to this little wick right here. So here's a high, here's a low, here's a lower high, here's a higher low. It's all coming right around where this major trend line that we drew, where we had the anchor. Here's the hit, first hit. Let me just take this one off. I don't need that anymore. And now it's just right now it's just playing around right around in this area. If it breaks through this AC area, I'll be out of this trade. Then maybe start looking at maybe reversing the position to get up to this blue line right here would be a reasonable target area if it decides to break out of this and go long. My stop is still out of harm's way. But right now I'm still showing, I'm still favoring now the CAD did switch over here on the 1 minute chart. Let's see what it's looking like. It's on the 5 minute. The CAD is still weak on the 15s, weak by 3. That's usually my minimum that I like to see. Weak by 2 on the 5 minute. The CAD's getting a little bit weaker still. We have a 5-point spread on the 15-minute. So that still gives us room to still consider that the CAD's going to be the weaker one, and it should go to the downside. So even though it's not playing like I would like to see it, it's not happening as fast as I like to see it, it's still doing okay. And let's see where else we had. We had the euro yen. And euro yen, we had the buy. We never got filled, but right up here's the target. So this one's probably not going to happen. It was a nice little try. We tried. Then the spread just didn't. Spread. We have a 2-point, a little bit over 2-point spread on this one. This is one where we set the target or our entry, and it just didn't get a fill. But the direction was right. The target would have been right. Problem is we just didn't get a fill on it. You can see how it came right up to that wick, right up to this line, and it's bouncing off again, bouncing right off of our 34 moving average. All of our moving averages are in the correct direction, but like I said, we just didn't get a fill on that one. Didn't miss it by much. I came right down to it, but didn't have the spread. Didn't get me into it. But we'll keep an eye. We'll just keep watching that one. Let's see anything else we have. Let's go back over to anything else to be looking at. How about the German 30? We haven't done that yet today. German 30. Here we go. German 30. That's always a fun one to trade. Oh, here's our blue line. Here's our red line. Here's our green. So right now we're right between the red and the green. You can see actually right now it's right in the middle of these two blue zones right here. Take your pick which way you want to go.
Actually, the MMAs are all kind of jumbled up. Personally, I wouldn't touch it just yet.
I'll take a nose break here. Oh, yeah, I agree with you, Eva. This is not ready for anything yet. And one thing I notice a lot with the German 30 is as it gets closer to the 9 o'clock hours when it starts making a move, and oftentimes it makes a move in the opposite direction where you really want to be going.
Yeah.
So I give this one a little bit more time yet. I'd still give it another, let's see what time is it, 8 o'clock. I'd still give it another 20, 30 minutes before I'd be looking at it. And then you just want to be kind of be careful with it. Right now, the euro is strong. Right now, the German 30, we've kind of tied to the euro. The euro, between the euro, the British pound, and the US dollar, the euro is strongest. With that being the strongest, we're going to be looking at it going to the downside. When the euro is weakest, we look at going to the upside. So right now, it's kind of out of sync with what we're seeing here, as far as from what we're looking at as a typical pattern for it.
UK 100 is very much the same, but I would have a look at the NASDAQ.
The NASDAQ. All right, let's take a look at the NASDAQ. That's US tech. Okay, the same thing. The NASDAQ is tied to the US dollar, which is going to be the blue one down here when it comes up. Excuse me. Couldn't find the mic switch in time.
Sometimes can't get there fast enough. Right. It's okay. We know you're not feeling well.
So right now, okay, we're looking at the dollar is the weakest. So we're looking at this thing to go up. Nice little strong move up. Here's the origin of the move. Here's the top. Let's see what kind of a pullback we may get. Right now, we're in between a green zone and a blue zone. Let's see, is that, yeah, that'd be right between the green and blue. Up here would be the 50-minute higher time frame. I like this little area right here with a pullback. Let's draw our Fibonacci's between the green and the blue, because that's where it's hanging out right now. Here's my green zone. Here's my blue zone. make sure I put this back to the 15-minute. That is, double check that to make sure you're on the right time frame. And come over here to the 5-minute chart. Tweak it, make sure they're lined up correctly. They are. Going to go ahead and lock it. Yes, I do like this little pull. This little. This is the right now. This is the origin of this big up move. And so I'm going to draw my Fibonacci extension. This was a retest. I'm going to draw from this one to here. And pull it back, see how far back it comes. I'd like to see it pull back 40%. This little white green area is basically, if I pull this all the way back to the top of where this little round circle is, that's pretty much a 40% retracement. And I'd like to see it pull back, but you see right now, pulled back right just about to the green zone, a little bit shy of the green zone, a little bit of a bounce. I'm just going to use this for a reference. Actually, you can see where it has a high, a low. It's starting to build a little bit of a wedge right in this little area right here. If I come over here to my 1-minute chart, you'll be able to see a little bit better. You can see it's just basing right around in this little area. Everything's still kind of congested. We do have the moving averages, green, yellow. This is a 62 on the white one. That's in the right order. We have the green pullback, didn't cross over the yellow. That's a good thing. And we have the dollar being weak, which means we expect it to go to the upside. We have a nice little drop, came back up, retest. Let's see if we get a little pullback. And if we go from here, we can draw a trend line from this low to this pivot and see where the trend line lies.
I've set a buy stop for this one, Al.
You just said a buy stop?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. That's going to be probably right up around this 132 area.
Nope, I'm at 48. I don't know why our charts are a little bit different.
Yeah.
Oh, that is different.
Yeah.
I'm the U.S. Tech 100, which should be the NASDAQ, but it may be.
Maybe it's, I don't know. I'm with the broker.
Well, we're obviously looking at different feeds and different labels, so that could be what it is.
Yeah, or sorry, at 48. Yeah, 15,148.
What's your symbol on this?
NAS 100.
NAS 100.
Mm-hmm.
I
think that's what.
This is index. NAS 100. Let's see. NAS 100.
I'm with NV. Oh,
okay, well, let's just do it this way. Let's just redraw this thing. So it should be now the price you have right now is about 15,121.22.
I'm at 15,131.35.
131 right now.
130, 129. Yeah, it's pulling back.
That's way different. That's way different.
Yeah, I wonder why that is.
That's a good question. It's probably something that needs to be investigated.
Yeah.
Well, you said you're Envy, right? And Alice is Global Prime.
I know, but price should be priced like very close.
Yeah.
They're a bit apart here.
Sure.
Look again here.
And they were worse on the other one when it was
NAS 100s, and that's Global Prime. That's the only one. So I don't have a feed on the.
It's where I'm on the MT4, and you're on TradingView. That should make a difference, right?
It shouldn't make a difference. The price is the price.
Not to this extent. So that's something we got to check out. Unless anybody has any thoughts and polling the audience.
Yeah.
Okay, so Danielle says there's NAS 100 and NAS 100 cash. So I don't know. I'm.
Well, let me do something else here.
So I guess all we can really do is trade what the chart gives us, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I'm just going to see if I can find a feed on this. Show symbols. Let's look at the indexes. This should be my NV, I think. I think I'm on NV on this one.
You're under crypto.
We don't want that. Indexes.
Oh, does Luke or
There's
the indexes. There's the indexes below. See it right there under energies?
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. There it is, the NAS 100. That's the one I'm trading.
Thanks, Daniela, for your suggestion.
Let's just take a look at it on this chart. We're still looking at the euro.
We're the same.
We're still looking at the dollar being weak, so we're still going the same direction. We're still looking for it to pull back to go to the upside. There's a 15-minute chart, and of course our zones are going to be a little bit different. Well, let's just kind of go with the. Let's just do it the old-fashioned way on this one. Pivot low to pivot high. Right up in here. And here is the upper 25% we'll be looking at. Here's a 0. Here's our upper 25%. You're seeing my chart? Yeah, you should be seeing my chart.
Yeah, we can see your chart.
Yeah, here's the upper 25% right in here. Here's the lower 25%. It's way down here. And then we have the middle thirds, which is right here at the 38.2. There's the 50. This is right. We're not doing anything really different. Other, I don't have the fib lines on this. I would move the fib lines over, but I don't know that the feed's going to be the same. So I hesitate to, although they should be pretty close if it's within the price range. We'll just have to, so right now we're bouncing right off of the upper zone right in here. And this is going to be the overshoot area up in this area. The fact is hitting over a high right in this area is bouncing off of that. Makes me think this thing could possibly go start turning around a little bit. It's been tested once. This was back yesterday at the 26th. Let's go to a 5-minute chart and see what this looks like on a 5-minute. We have a cross of the 5 and the 13. So right now I don't want to be, I'd like to see it get a close where this thing's starting to, here's a nice little wedge. Here's a drop. There's a low. And right here's a little wedge area right here. You can see us, we're going to be talking about this a lot in the future. Trend line, just do a ray on this one. There's a flat, there's the bottom ish. Let's see where this thing will, see how far, we have a nice little slope on that one. We'll see if it breaks. This is the pivot. It's got, I'd like to see it close before that, on below this before I feel like this thing's still going down. The fact that it hasn't closed below this little pivot point right here, this thing's still good for as a pullback to the upside. And if you look and see what our range is from here to the bottom here, that's let's see, this is NASDAQ 100. So that's basically $19 move. That's a nice little range for a take a trade. And where'd you say your buy stop was, Eva?
It's at 15,148.48.
48. Yeah, so you're all the way up in here. So
yeah.
Your buy stop is pretty much right above where our pivot highs are.
Yeah. So once it finishes doing what it's doing, if it continues on, then it should trigger me. And of course, my target's not that far away, so we'll have to see what happens. If it doesn't get up there, then it doesn't get up there. And I just get rid of my pending order. You can't hit the ball if you don't try, right?
That's exactly right. Yeah, you got to swing the bat if you want to hit it out of the park.
That's what it
Yeah.
is. I'm not a ball girl.
Here's a nice little pivot eye. Here's a pivot right here. So let me see if I can make these a little thicker here so we can see it a little bit better.
Oh, look, it's breaking down through the bottom of that.
Yeah, it's getting a lot of downward pressure right now.
But you know what? It's on my 34 MMA. That's what it's bouncing off of right now on the 5 minute.
Now we do have this nice little move up here from here's the origin. Pull back a little bit of a basing, came back up. This little area right in here, I'm going to be looking at. This is nice little. We're glad we didn't take this thing long yet. Here's a pivot. Here's a pivot low. This is the origin of this up move. And we're going to see where we can get the first hit of the trend line. We'll see where this one stops. I'm going to project this to be somewhere in this area. Here's our 34 moving average. And we have our crossover of our green and the yellow. So we want to see how far back it goes. I want to see a nice little rejection of a price point.
Let's wait and see.
And again, this one might not be quite ready yet. This is the NASDAQ and the market. Right now, you're starting to look at some pre-market moves. So it's coming up on 8:30. So we get another 30 minutes. Usually by 8:30 and 9 o'clock, you'll see some major moves in some of these markets for the indexes.
Yeah, they're all kind of like that right now. The indexes. I mean, this is the clearest one out of the 3 US ones that I trade. But I think it's pulling back. It's only at the 38 on my fib line.
I do see a little basing right here. This is kind of like a retest area, right? This little area right in here is a retest of where this, I'm going to be looking at this pretty much right where I have my trend line. If I draw a wedge or not a wedge, but a rectangle around this little retest area right in here. Looking for it to retest. It's bouncing right off of this little area. And if we look and see where the dollar is still weak. So this is, it hasn't really changed positions at all. And so the dollar is still the weakest of those three currencies. This would be an aggressive move as it bounces off of this. But I'm going to take a shot at this one. Position size myself is 0.05 on this one. And I'm going to do a buy. I like the pullback on this. And I'm going to reposition, modify. I'm going to set my 15 pip stop, 7 pip target. Actually, with the indexes, I got my buy fill at let's just call it 15.27. I'm going to go for $5 move, so 27 to 32. So target is going to be 32. And my stop is going to be a 10 pip stop, a $10 stop, so 27 to 17. And set my trade. And by the time it comes back up to where this wedge, this trend line comes back up, I should be filled with this by the time it hits up there. I do like the fact that we got this bounce right off of this little, this is a retest zone right here. Here's a rally, basing, rally, came back, retested this little area right in here, bounced right off of it, and now looking to see it go up a little bit higher. If I look and see what this, let's see, let's just say take this move right here. To the high. Show another wedge there. Here is our trend line. Now, if it can break through this wedge, if it can break through this little wedge trend line that we have here, if it can break through that, I'm going to slide this. Oops, gotta grab in the middle. Then I can slide this to where, right wherever it breaks through this, and then this could be my target up in here. This would be the target area. I'll mark this as a target once it breaks through the wedge. And we'll see. And then we wait. Right now it's just hanging in there.
Yeah. So.
And then we go on to the next. We go and see what else we have going on here. We'll keep that off to the side. And what other one? This was where this is basically the same pattern basically. Here's our little retest area. It's the same. The numbers are different, but the pattern is the same because it's the NASDAQ.
Yeah.
Here's our retest. Retest. Bounce back. Here's our origin of the move up to here. We got a stick. Here's the pullback. And it pulled back from, that's the origin. Here's the pullback. So if it goes up to the next level of here, there would be the target. You can see it came right up, the target's right up here at the blue line. This is a 5-minute blue line. It bounced off the red, pulled back. Right now I'm looking at a 15,146 for the target. And you can see this is a 5-minute blue.
You have a minute, I'll have a look at the pound US. Yoda's saying how crazy how it bounced back on the H4 candle.
Pound US. Let me double.
The pound.
Yeah, I'm just trying. Oh, pound US. I'm just trying which one of these I want to use here. This will start to work out okay. That one. That's the one that we took earlier. No, don't want to use that. Let me duplicate this. And pound US, you say?
Yes. On the 4-hour.
On the 4-hour. Ooh, he's a swing trader.
Swing trader.
Take a look at the 4-hour chart.
Wow. Yeah, look at that.
Strong move down.
Right. There's news for US that's coming in 4 minutes. Right. So that's what Yoda's saying. There is news for the US. So it's preparing itself. Yeah, I wonder what that's going to do to our NASDAQ.
Let's see what I'm going to do with this one. I'm not used to using 4-hour charts here, but we'll see what we can do. A lot of basing right in here from a higher time frame perspective. From this area, from here up here, how much is that? That's 160 pips, it looks like. That's a pretty good range. Let's just go from, let's just do what we normally do. Let's go from, first of all, let me see where our higher time frame zones are. I'm gonna have to go all the way up to like 4 hours, see what it looks like there. Let's see if I can find which zones we're playing in. Coming right in off of a green zone right there. So I would be looking at this area right in here to this area, since we're looking about swing trading. And this is a 4-hour green zone. Templates, settings, 4-hour green. And we're going to style it. Make this one a little bit thicker. And we're going to get rid of these day breaks. We don't really need the session breaks on these higher time frames. So are you long or short on this thing, or are you even in it? This is the first question. One hour and
He or she is thinking about going short.
going short. First off, I'd be looking at the British pound is strong. So right now I do not want to go short when these things are, when it's showing the strength of the British pound. Now, once it gets up into this area, until they get short up in that area, might be an okay thing to do. Here's the origin of the move. It's kind of pretty much getting almost a full retracement on this. Here's we're in the upper 25% of the zone. What we don't know is this is the overshoot. You can see here's well, that's 27%. If I were to, let's see, let me go down here to find out where the upper 25% is on this. Oh, I know, I'm a different chart. Switching back and forth, I got to make my brain adjust. This is the 25% zone. And we're going to clone that. Then we're moving up to the, let's see, the green. This is going to be the overshoot area, 25% overshoot. And you can see that it does cover this little area. So it has seen this area before. I would wait till it gets up into this area before you take it short, because this is the origin of where this down move came from. I would not, you might get a bounce off of this, but if you take it short in this area right here, you're going to have to fight through it. You may have to weather some drawdown all the way up into this area. There is some wicks. I think this little area right in here, this little wick right in this area this could be the area that could pretty much go up into. Here's the wick, here is the last hurrah before it dropped on down. It's probably going to come up, and it may have some sell orders right up in this area. So I would not take it short until we get confirmation on a lower time frame that's ready to come out of that. If I go to a 1 hour chart, let's see what it looks like on a 1 hour chart here.
Yoda says for sure. Thank you.
We have a nice little trend coming up here on the bottom. And let's see, what else do we see here? What else do I see? I'm going to do something here that I don't normally do. And you may see more of this in time since we're looking at a higher time frame. This is what they call a harmonic. And these things are really neat. What it does, it kind of gives you it basically still trend lines, but what it does, it gives you a low, a high, a pivot, tells you what percentage of the drawdown. This thing from this A to B, it drew it back 58%, got rejected. Now the question is it going to come up here to retest? Normally it would be, a lot of times you'll see like an 86% retracement, and this is where it would maybe stop right over in here. Right now, this is right at 80% retracement. I'm just eyeballing it right now. It could go on up a little bit higher. That'd be like the 127 overshoot, which is a key Fibonacci number right there. So I would be waiting to see it break. If you're going to be looking at having this thing go short, a lot of times what you do is you'll want it to break this trend line, this XB trend line on the way down and do. But this is going to be a key. I think going short is a good thing on this one from the higher time frame. What you don't know is where this thing's going to stop. Here's the high. Actually, we have a little bit of an anchor. This is pretty much a double top right there. And the pullback coming back is going to be retesting this little level right in here. I would say if you want to take a short, you could take a short position here, take a smaller position, don't take a full position because it probably could still come on up. And then once you get the confirmation that it's going to start breaking down, then you can add 2 positions on the way down. But going short up there is not a bad idea, especially from a higher time frame standpoint. Hopefully that helps. Any other questions? Thank you for the questions. I appreciate it.
No others. Sorry.
Your harmonic, does it have a specific name, Al?
There's the harmonics have they do have several specific names. Some are called butterfly, Gartley's.
Crab.
There's a crab, yeah, a crab, sharks. There's all kinds. There's a whole book on harmonics. I mean, it's a whole nother study in itself. I'm still working on it myself. There is a program you can actually subscribe to, and they draw it out for you. Let me see if I can find one here. I subscribe to it. I don't actually use it a whole lot. But for example, let me see if I can pull this one up. It makes me want to have to log in. I can't show it to you right now, but I'll work on that and see if I can show you some of these when the time comes. Right now it is coming up, so it's coming up into a nice little zone right here. But again, you may want to just make sure that you start getting the pullback before you do. I'd like to see at least get on if you're on a 1 hour chart, at least go down to a 15-minute chart and look for the price action where you get that three candle pivot. A lot of people will talk about that where you have like this pivot right down here at the low right here. Here's a nice low with a wick, and you have 2 higher lows on either side of it. This is a 3 candle pivot. Once you get that, then you can start looking for the trend, and then just wait for the trend to come back down and start catching the. Right now, this is the trend line you'll be looking for. We have the A to C area. Here's a hit. 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 Right now, it's inside this little zone. If it pops up here is real strong, it may just pop right up in here just to get the orders, and then just drop off like a tank. But just be real careful when you do that. That's a target shooting type of technique, which really works. And it's not a bad place to go. But you're going to be in the. But these are if you're in a higher time frame like this, you could be in this trade for several days or weeks before you get out of it. But this could be a lot more. I mean, you have a lot more range to profit from. But you're going to need a little bit higher stop, especially if it comes up, because it could very well come right up into this blue zone up here. And that's about all I have to say about that.
One of your cat trades is out.
Let's take a look at how's this trade doing here. Here's the CAD Swiss. And we are just about, let's see, well, we're about to break even right now. Let's see, we took this thing short. It came right down. Look how close it came to our target, and then it rejected. Now, if I was watching this, I would pull that trade. That's not saying it's not going to come down and still catch that. But you can see, it looks like here's where my target was. But you see with the spread, 2-point spread, it did not close out my trade. And that's what you have to be really careful with these wider spreads. And a lot of times, as it gets to some of these target zones, the spreads start widening out. And it makes it harder and harder to get your fill. But that was the target. It was a reasonable target to be taken. That's why when I'm more of a scalping type trader, and generally when I'm in a trade, I usually like to just kind of keep watching it, because for this very reason, as I would have been out of that trade by there. And right now we're just pretty much kind of it's going back up to retest, and let's see, this is our area. Now this thing, it could still come back down, but right now we have the Canadian dollar is short. I'm just going to close this thing out because I don't really like the idea that the Canadian dollar is now stronger, and I already came close to my target, didn't get filled, and now it's rejecting back up, and now the Canadian dollar is stronger on that time frame. This could just be a little bit of a pullback, but no, it was close enough to my target where I'm going to look for maybe a better entry. Right now, it seems like it still has room to the upside.
I have to thank Edens for pointing out that crypto was going through the roof. I just took profit on my Bitcoin trade.
All right. Cryptos are going back up. That's a nice thing to hear. Bitcoin's now 38,343 right now. I think got all the way, see, Bitcoin, I think got all the way down to, let's take a look at Bitcoin here. There's my, these cryptos are a wild ride.
They are.
Let's go to a higher time frame here. Let's just go to a daily chart. See what it's doing here. It's going to clear off the chart.
Even swing trades them. I think that's kind of brave, because you never know what it's going to do over the course of a few hours, right?
Well, that's probably Bitcoin is probably the thing. These cryptos probably, the fact they're so volatile, you probably almost need to swing trade and just find those extended ranges and buy or sell at those extended ranges and then just hang on to it. Mm-hmm. I tend to, with Bitcoin and all the cryptos right now, I tend to buy it. I'm kind of like a buy and hold type of guy when it comes to the cryptos, just because I'm thinking that those would be in the long term. But when it comes down in this area, where you see how this is dropped, based real, it's been basing like this since the middle of May. It's been pretty much in this zone since the middle of May.
Still good for scalping, though.
You can scalp it. But it's pretty much been living in this little range right here. This is at the 41,753 area. If it can break out of this zone to the upside, this is going to be the next little area. See this little drop, a little basing. It's going to be right. I would be looking at this area right in here. If it can break out of this area, this will be the next stop on the line. Let's see if I can spin this out here a little bit. I'm looking at a daily chart right now. It came back down. Wicks. This little wick got blown through on this down move. It could come back and retest the bottom of that wick. This is really the area of indecision. This is where the buyers and sellers were in equilibrium. There's a little doji. You see this little doji right here? There's a little doji here. There's two of them side by side.
Mhm.
That's where the buyers and the sellers were in equilibrium. The buyers and sellers couldn't decide who was going to win. Eventually, the sellers won. But once it comes back up, it's going to probably retest this area and probably will go back up to where they're in equilibrium, which is right about in the middle of where this zone is. You can see where this box, this is the middle of the box right here. Come all the way over here, and you can see that that's right at the bottom of this little doji, almost to the pip. So the fact it's breaking through, you got the moving averages moving in the right direction. It's going through this consolidation phase right here. Once it breaks through, this will be the next stop on the line, about 145. I'll call it 145.9 for the Bitcoin. And that'll make a lot of people a little bit more at ease. There's a lot of folks that were buying way up in here at the 60,000 mark.
Yeah. That's a kind of high.
Yeah, but this was a drop, retest. Now, if you can look and see just the price action on this. Let me get my tool here. Here's the drop. Come back down here. Here's the pullback. And if the 1-to-1 ratio would be at the 100 level, which would be right here. You see it came right down to this area and it blew through. It went even further. But this was this would have been the 1-to-1 ratio, 1-to-1 target. This little area right in here would have been the 1-to-1 target for that retracement. Somewhere right around in this area. You can see where it actually started basing again off of that strong move down, based. And now it's probably going to come up and retest this area again. So I would be looking at that as a possible target zone too for the upside. Any other things anybody wants to look at? Do we have any other trades open here? Cat Swiss, we already decided we're done with that one.
Oh, the NASDAQ is starting to flip over the MAs, the 5 and the 13.
Now the NASDAQ.
On the 5 minute, they're starting to, mind you, it's just a slight little
100.
pullback, but it's going up.
Well, the NASDAQ. Let's see, how's my trade doing? Oh, I already got my target, it looks like. Here's that NASDAQ trade that we took. And it looks like we got up and looks like we did hit the target. I think I got a little win on that one. Yep, there was a win on that one. And you see it basically is now starting to pull back again.
Yeah.
And the euro is, let's see, the NASDAQ, which is the US dollar. Dollar is getting stronger now. No, not too much so. Something's not quite right here. Let me double check something. No? Everything looks good. Anyway, that trade is done now. We'll wait for it to see if it pulls back again. We can maybe erase all of our objects on this.
Yeah, it still hasn't even triggered my trade, obviously, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah, sometimes it's good just to not
Be inside a trade.
being outside the trade. Sometimes makes a lot of sense. You don't want to get in until you're ready to get in.
Well, this is it.
Make the price come to you. Even like we had that experience on that one. What was that pair that we were looking at? I had set a target, didn't fill, took off, never got filled.
Was that today?
Yeah, that was today. Yeah, I had a target. What pair was that? Yeah, the euro yen. Here it was, right here. This one right here. Here's my buy. My buy. I came in, got the wick all the way down, but the spread, not the spread's not so bad right now. If it had this, we had this spread back over here. I think it was up around 2.3 or 2.6, and the spread did not get me in. Even though the wick came back down, it wasn't enough to get me filled. And I'm still sitting there waiting for it to fill. But at this point, I'm going to pull this trade and reassess. So I'm going to move this out of the way, clean it up a little bit. Here's our rally. There's a strong pullback. This is a kind of a wicking area right here. So right now, it's kind of range bound between our 5-minute fib and our blue line, our 15 1 hour. You see how it's respecting this 1 hour? It just came up, can't even break through it at all. If it can break through that, it's going to go probably on up to this, probably this next level up there. Let's see where we're at. This is 5 minutes. Yep. Right now, so we're looking at that's the price. And you can see that these zones are between, on the 5-minute chart, should be 21 pips. On the yen, okay, it's about half of that on the yen. That's why I say when I'm trading on the yen pairs, I usually like trading off the 5-minute chart because the zones that it draws, our fib zones, are pretty much, they're a little bit more in line to my target areas. And like right now, that's about 11, these are about 11 pip zones. If I go from the red to the green, it's going to be about another 11 pips. But you'll see where it's respecting these little levels. Right now, there's no trade here. We have a euro yen. The euro is stronger to the yen, so it is moving to the upside. Still having some indecision here. We have red over green, and then we have green over red. So this is in a pullback mode, waiting for the euro to get stronger. Excuse me.
Bless you.
God bless you.
Any questions? How are we doing time? We got about 10 more minutes.
10 minutes. Yeah.
That's probably won't be, well, let's see. Let's take a look at our heat map and see if there are Hercules and see if there's anything here to be looking at. Just double sure that.
Well, the UK and the German never did straighten out, at least not yet. Just an FYI.
So what you're saying is there are any indexes that you can see to be taken?
Well, what I'm saying is that the MMAs are still all jumbled up like pretzels. Like I wouldn't get into either one of them at the moment. Not until they straighten themselves out and decide. It's like it's consolidating right now, so it's anyone's guess which way it's going to go at the moment.
No, it seems like Eden's got a nice little profit on the German 30. Let's see how we doing on that one, German 30. Said he got in and got out with a little profit. Let's see where we got.
Yeah, it doesn't go with my trading plan.
Yeah,
I refuse to jump in. I've been burned so many times at market.
And I think that's important to realize too, is that everybody's going to. One thing you're going to do as you're in, whether you're in our room or anybody else's room or what school you're into. Now, we've been to a lot of different schools. I've had a lot of different exposures to a lot of different methods, and everybody's got their own little way. And there's each school we went. I've been to a lot of schools and spent a lot of money doing it. Even though I may not have stayed with the particular school and found out that was not what it led up to my expectations, I still got little tidbits and nuggets out of it that were valuable to me. And the main thing is you're going to need to develop your own trade plan, your own trading method that fits your personality. When you get a drawdown, to have a drawdown that stays within your parameters of comfort. And it's going to take a little while for everybody to develop those types of things for themselves. But it's kind of part of the process. And, Brian will take trades. Eva will take trades. God won't touch that one. Or we'll take trades in opposite directions. She's buying it and I'm selling it. Brian and I do the same thing, and we both can be profitable. So just because one person's, but it depends what your expectations are. If you're a swing trader, you're going to take. If I'm a scalper, and you're a swing trader, oftentimes while you're waiting for the trade, I'm scalping to get up to where you want to be buying or down to where you want to be selling. So it all depends on what your risk appetite is and what your comfort level is on how to manage your trades. So right now with the stacks 30, here's our zones. This is the upper section here. So here's our blue. Right now, we're still in between this red and the green zone here on the, we're right in between. Are you
not using the 34 on that, Al? Do you use a 34?
Actually, I have these are the, actually, this is a 30-minute 64 on all the charts. The blue one is not really a 34.
Okay, so you use your MMAs different than I do then.
Well, on this particular, let me see here, 5, 13, 62. Yeah, now what I could do is I can do this on a, same as a chart. I probably should change these because it's pretty much the same here. There, does that look better? Let me have to change this. This is what I was doing before with a 30-minute 64 on all the charts. Now that was always had a 30-minute reference on, but right now this is the 34 moving average. It's all consolidating right in here. They're all kind of jumbled up right now, so I'm not seeing any real clarity on this trade. But the zone that we're looking at is the red to the green. Make sure we're on a 15-minute chart. I'm on a 15-minute chart with a 15-minute zone. Yep, I am. Just double check your settings, especially when you flip back and forth. That's my fib. So here's my red zone. Here's my green. Give it my 5-minute chart. Check my lines. And we're going to lock this in. Here's my upper 20. And you can see that even like this overshoot, this one really shot up pretty high on this one. Now, one thing I do like about this pattern right now, the euro is still strong. I like to see the euro get weaker. I like to see that euro, that red line being down here more towards the zero. Right now, it's sort of in his range, right? It's kind of stuck in a range right now between this pivot, this low, and a nice little pullback. Here's a high, came all the way down, pullback, retested. We have a nice little trend line coming in there. This pivot to I said, when I draw the trends, if I get my anchor, I should maybe move it up here. That's about. I'll accept one small violation of the trend line right here near the beginning. You see there's just a little bit of a tick up there. This one is the third hit, rejected. Here's our wedge, strong move up. Here's a high, here's a low, starting to form a little wedge right in this area. Now I'm on a 15-minute chart. Let's take a look at it on the 5-minute. And we see we have a low, strong move up, hit the target, hit the trend line. I'm still showing a 6 on the euro, so I'm still looking at this thing coming on up to maybe still go to the downside. Here's my upper 25% right in this area. Here's my lower 25 right in here. You see how this thing is just sort of wicked right beyond these, into these overshoot areas. So this is pretty wicky right now. A lot of manipulation going on with this. I don't like that. I don't have any real clear zone. The best I can do is maybe going up to this area. Take it down to that way. This is really the playground which we're looking at right now. Now I'm going to go with this little area right in here. And I think I'd be willing to bet if I go into a lower time frame chart. Actually, this is a 5-minute here.
It's unclear which way it wants to go, really.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
there is no real clarity on this one.
No.
Let's go to my 5-minute zone, see where my 5-minute zones are, see if it's hitting any of those numbers. I kind of like this right here. Here's the 5-minute red zone right there. This is our zone on that one. And then we have the, oh boy, punched right through that and couldn't really hold it either. Here's a 5-minute green. That was a strong overshoot on that. There was hot for stops on that. You look over here to the left where this thing came over. It came in right in this little wicks right in this area. And so actually this is the area that we could probably tweak that if we go to a 1-minute chart with the fibs on. Just trying to find out where this thing was happy to turn around. Can't wait. Right now it's actually extended my range of this price, though. My fib lines don't go that far. And we'll stick with the 5-minute. Right now, here's a nice little strong move up, a little basing right going on in here. Yeah, this is at 9 o'clock. So right now, in another 30 minutes when the U.S. market opens up, I would just stay out of this one right now. There's no real clear direction on it. It's just looks like it could be setting up for a nice little move, but I have no idea which way it's going to go. So I'm just going to stay away from this one today, at least for right now, anyway.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And we are at 9 o'clock. I think we're going to wrap this thing up. I've got a script to work on for the event, the Auvoria Prime event coming up. And thanks everybody for being here. Hope you were able to catch a little few trades that are profitable today. And see, tomorrow is Wednesday, so yeah, I'll still be here Wednesday. Thursday, I travel down to Orlando, so Eva will probably be hosting the room.
I'll be taking over the class.
You'll be taking over the class.
Hey.
I will probably
Party.
be here for a little bit, but I've got to leave for the airport. So probably by about 9:30, I got to be on the road. So
Yeah. The girls are in charge on Thursday and Friday.
yeah, you guys are gonna have the.
Well, you know what
here.
they say when the cat is away.
Yeah, there you go. Don't show us up too bad here. So,
We're gonna wreck the place.
yeah. So with that, thanks everybody for being here, and we will see you tomorrow. Take care. Stay green.
Yeah, everybody.
Have a
See you
great
all
day.
tomorrow. Have a
Be
great
well.
day.
God bless.